guys, welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you are new. My name is Ella, and in this video I'm going to be giving some advice on how to not get too stressed out about art. I know that sounds impossible, but to any of you artists who are, going through their art GCSE right now, here is what I wish I had known when I first started. Enjoy! First one, pretty self-explanatory. Stay on top of deadlines. They are the burden of any art GCSE, and I knew that every single time I would fall behind and then therefore inevitably have that massive rush of work at the end of a unit where I'd literally get breakdowns over how much work I had to do. So please, please, please plan out your work so that when you get to a deadline you're not stressing, and you can at least have 80% of the work done, and A, you'll feel better about yourself, and B, you won't stress yourself out at the end of it, because no one wants to be stressed out that much, and it's all going to happen to us. But please try and stay on top of your deadlines as much as possible. So the second thing is, when you're actually picking a topic to do your unit on, pick something that's going to be quite easy to go down different avenues on, and I feel like that way you won't be getting bored a couple of weeks into the unit. You're going to be doing a lot of work around this, so you need something that you're not going to get bored of and something that you're going to find genuinely interesting. So don't do something just because all your friends are doing it. Don't do something because you found this really cool artist on Instagram. I'll get to that in a bit. Do something because or you get these light bulb moments. You're like, oh my god, I could do this, I could do this, I could do this. Go for it, because if you have loads of different avenues to go down, then you're not going to get stuck halfway through the project and be like, I have no idea where I'm going. Because it's almost like the examiner can see when you've not, you don't know where you're going, because it's just kind of, I feel like it could get more jumbled up, your work, and there's not a clear line of thoughts going through it. So yeah, please pick a topic that you're going to be able to develop more, and one that's really broad really helps. The next one kind of leads on from the past point, and it's having a purpose with your project. So yes, this new theme is great, and it might be that you've picked these few artists that you really love, but you need an actual purpose. What is it what's your objective for the end of it? It's not to make a really pretty picture, it's not to copy this artist that you really like, it's what is it that's really interesting to you. So it might be that you really, really love portraiture and you want to develop that. So go for that and make it really specific, and almost say in your annotations, if you need to write around, I know I did some annotations for GCSE, not loads, but still enough that I could explain where I was going and what I was doing. I explained how I wanted to look at contrasts, and then in the next, I did mine on boards instead of a sketchbook, but then on the next board I was like, okay, now I want to look at contrasts on human faces, and then in the next one is I want to look at contrast in black and white, and you see how it develops. But it was all surrounded by that purpose, that I had a real intrigue around contrast, and I really wanted to explore that particular avenue. Now yours might be completely different. Maybe you love landscapes and you want to explore the ocean and water, and how the movement of water is, it can be different in every single image. There's no two images that look the same when it comes to water. And explain that to the examiner in your annotations. Talk about what you really want to achieve by the end of this unit, and have that set from the beginning. Even if you don't exactly know what your final piece is, I'm not expecting you to know what your final piece is at the beginning of the unit, because to be honest, I'm a couple of weeks away from doing my first final piece in N-level art. I don't know what it's going to look like, but I have a genuine, a slight inkling of what I want it to look like, because I know the purpose behind my unit. The next tip is about studying your artists. So before I even settled on artists, I would have 5 or 6 different ones. I'm like, oh, I like their work. And then I would Google them to see if I could find, loads of information about them. Because for me, obviously, I don't know whether it's the same for everyone, but if you need to write, artist essays, or do a load of artist research, or know at least some context about the artist, you need to be able to find that easily. You don't want to be spending hours and hours, sifting through all this information on the the internet just to find this one dodgy interview that supposedly happened with this artist. A, that's not very reliable, and B, it's going to waste your load of time. So finding artists, and I know sometimes people don't like to study traditional artists, but traditional artists are really great for information because obviously they've been around for a long time. A lot more people have studied them, and it's also great because I studied Edward Hopper for one of my A-level artists so far, and I actually found this website that analysed one of his works for me. So although I put it into my own work, or in my own words, and put my own sort of analysis on that, I had that backbone there already, and it saved me so much time. So making sure that you know that there's enough information about the artist before you settle on them is a great way to stick to your deadlines as well, because you can focus more on your art and less on your research. Leading on from that point, you need to make sure that you include a wide range of artists, because I know sometimes you might just love these Instagram artists that you see online, and they're great if there's enough information about them. But sometimes the examiner might want to see a more traditional artist because they're more familiar with that. And I know they're not meant to be biased, but if they see someone, if you do Picasso, who's well renowned for being a really great artist, they're going to be, more interested, I suppose. I don't want to, say it for definite because they're not meant to be biased. They're meant to, go along with whatever artist you choose. And a lot of my artists at GCSE were fairly modern. But I did throw in the occasional traditional one just to mix it up a bit, and it also gives you a change of styles and a wider range of things to pick out. So you might really like the technique from the traditional artist, but the colours and all the simplicity from the modern artist. You can mix them together and create a really original piece. Going on from originality, please try and avoid cliches. So I know the stereotypical ones that you see all around your classroom. I can't really think of so many off the top of my head. But if you've seen it before, as in exactly how you imagine your work will turn out, it's probably not best to do that in your coursework or exam, because the examiner is obviously marking quite a few artists. They don't want to see the same thing over and over again. If you come up with something really original, then that's going to almost boost your grade, because the examiner will really go, oh yeah, I like that. What made them come to that? Instead of just, oh, there's another, I don't know, insert cliche arts topic there. One way to avoid the cliches is by making it more personal, and that comes back to the purpose thing that I was talking about earlier. So having a more personal connection with your theme. Maybe when you thought of the theme, you immediately thought of this holiday where you took these photos that would really go over your unit. Those kind of things, those personal connections are going to really help you out, because you're going to display more originality first. The examiner's going to be like, oh, I've never seen that before, because it's actually personal to you. Everyone's got their own interpretation of art. There is no good or bad art, as I'm going to say later. Having that purpose really helps, and then that personal connection just helps you avoid those cliches a little bit more. I say make it original and make it, personal to you, but please don't be afraid to take inspiration from others. Maybe you've seen something online that you really like the look of, and don't be afraid to take elements of that. Obviously don't copy it direct unless it's your artist's work and you're studying their work for AO1. But if you see, a certain colour combination that you really like, take it. There's no point, thinking, oh, someone's done that, so I can't do it ever again. No, just take little elements from it and put it into your own work and put your own twist on it, and you've now got a personalised, original piece that has taken inspiration from others. And my last tip for you before I get on to, great websites or places to find certain ideas, is don't compare yourself to others. So I know that doing all of this artist research and looking through all of these different artists that do incredible pieces of work, you can sometimes become really disheartened. You're like, well, I'm never going to reach that. I'm never going to be at that point. And first of all, you will. Those artists have obviously got a lot more experience than you have in most cases. So they've had a lot more time to develop their skills and really focus on one area. You notice that every artist focuses mainly on one particular thing. They like one media or one or two medias. They like a certain composition. They only focus on portraits, or they only focus on landscapes. You are being asked to do quite a different thing in GCSE. Please don't compare yourself, because that's not going to get you anywhere. That's just going to dishearten you. And that also goes to the same for when you're in class. Everyone is sat there doing their own pieces of work, studying really different artists, studying different units even. So comparing your work to another classmate's isn't going to get you anywhere. It's just going to make you feel worse about yourself, and you need to realise that your work is just as good as theirs. There is no good or bad art. You'll have a look in like museums. This abstract art, where there's literally like 2 blocks of colour, sells for millions. Some people think that's really bad art, other people think it's amazing. So you see there's a divided opinion on art. So you being really critical about yours is the same as someone else being really critical about theirs. And if you find yourself comparing yourself to others, then you're just going to maybe steal some of their ideas subconsciously, you know, not as if you're just going to go out and go, yeah, I really like that, I'm going to copy that exactly. But you might start taking elements from their work, and it might start drawing similarities between yours and theirs. And that means that if the examiner comes to mark both of yours, then there's not an original twist on yours or theirs, so it's going to hurt your grade in the end. So trying to not steal, I'm not going to say steal from other people's work, because you're not doing it on purpose, but comparing yourself to other people's work can just, it's not great in any shape or form. So lastly, I just wanted to give you a couple of places you can go if you're stuck for inspiration or you're not really sure where to go. So first of all, Pinterest and Instagram are my 2 staples when I'm just like, I need ideas. Pinterest is great for like sketchbook layouts. So I know I worked on boards in GCSE. I'm on a sketchbook now, and I go on there and just look at ways that people have maybe experimented, because there's tons of different ways. And again, I'm not stealing their idea, but I'm taking little elements. So I don't know, maybe it's a layout of a page that you really like. You're bored of the layout of your sketchbook. I know that's not something you really should be fussing about, but having a nice layout may just make you feel like you've got your life together a bit. I know it does for me. If I've got a nice sketchbook layout, I feel like I've got more done in the day. Sad, I know. But then Instagram is great because a lot of artists are turning towards that to share their work, and it might be a great way to find really original artists. As long as you can find information on them. Again, it may be that you contact them directly and just say, hey, I'm studying, you know, can I study with you for GCSE, and is there anything that you can tell me that could help me in my studies? They probably love that because they want to share their work with people. The next place is a place called studentartguide.com. So I know that I think it's based in New Zealand, but there's tons of stuff there. I'm going to link that down below. I've used that throughout my GCSE and now my A-levels. They have so many different articles for students, from how to be more original to different ways you can interpret a topic theme. They even had one for my inside-outside theme that I'm doing right now. There's different ways you can experiment, some artists, tons of stuff. So if you're ever stuck or you feel like you want to just expand your knowledge on what you need to do, then that's a great place to go. Obviously it's not specification specific, but it can give you tons of really good ideas. There's also some model displays there, so they do stuff for textiles, photography, fine art, all of the above. I think they maybe do some DT, I'm not sure. Basically all the creative subjects, they've got top mark sketchbooks or projects to show to you and explain why they got that high marks, or that high marks, those high marks. So yeah, I really recommend it. Lastly, you may have been given, when you're choosing your unit, you may have been given a exam like booklet, I suppose. It wasn't really a booklet, it's like a couple of sheets of paper. So mine was AQA, but they basically like set out a load of different topics that you can choose from, and in that they had referenced some artists that they, you know, thought they really represented that topic. They might not be for you, but they would be great options because the exam board have chosen them because they've got lots of information about them. So if you're stuck for artists, then looking at that booklet would be a great place to go. And it also might give you some inspiration as to what the exam board might look for. Obviously, they're open to anything, any interpretation of the unit, but if you're really stuck, then that's a great place to go to. Okay, so that's all the advice that I wish I could have told myself 2 years ago when I started my art GCSE in year 10. And I did do some of those things, so I used Student Art Guide. I made sure I'd researched my artist properly before I started, you know, actually studying their work, and I tried my best to keep on top of deadlines, even though, you know, it's inevitable that we slip behind occasionally. But I am sure that some of those tips definitely got me to the grade that I got, thankfully, this summer, which was a 9. I was so happy with that. If you have any more questions, leave them down below. I'd be happy to answer them. Thank you for watching this video. If you really enjoyed it, then please give it a thumbs up, and let me know if it's helped you in any way. Tell me about your projects. How is the art going? Any advice for me? I'm doing A-levels. Yeah, I'm open to suggestions. Already falling behind on deadlines. Great one, Ella. I'm doing okay. I'm getting there. But yeah, I'm behind. We'll get there. We'll get there. So if you enjoyed this video and you want to see more, then please hit subscribe. It would mean so much. And I will see you on Wednesday. Bye!